Hey guys, I wanted to do a video on the Toyota Tundra recall and what choices we have as owners. You've got some decisions to make. So this video is for you if you currently own a Tundra and you're coming up on a potential engine replacement, or you just found out your truck is now in the recall group and is going to be having a recall replacement done on it. So this video is for you. Let's talk about it. The original recall was the 24TA-07, and now that's expanded out. There's been this new additional phase, which is the 25TA-14. So now I think it's up to some models produced in 2025 have been recalled and are now going to be receiving these full engine replacements. And so I wanted to go into kind of what options we have as owners, and I'll share my experience purchasing a truck that had just had the engine replaced. I'll put up my paperwork here and we can look at it and see part numbers and some of the description of what was done, so we can compare that to your truck and you can have a reference of what to go off of, what to expect. So let's go into the recall. Unfortunately, the gas onlys are receiving the full long block replacements, and the hybrids are still being covered under the Toyota warranty with a short block rebuild. So maybe that'll change. Hopefully that'll change. I think Toyota should replace all of these engines since they're basically the same. But as of right now, they're only doing the full long block replacements. But this will apply to either a full long block engine assembly dropping in or a short block rebuild. A lot of the same things will apply. So it goes to both here. Okay, so first thing to know is the recall is a safety recall. And so there's things that Toyota is obligated to do, and there's things that the owner has rights in. So a safety recall is mandatory for the manufacturer and it is optional for the owner. Okay, so you don't have to go and comply with an immediate fix to this problem. It's an open recall. Your vehicle, if it's included, you have some options of what you do. You can choose how to proceed here. There is no requirement for you to replace your engine immediately. Okay, so you have to understand that and know how to proceed here. So the main thing is you can either get your engine replaced immediately if you would like, or if your engine is running well and is not showing any symptoms, you can wait until your engine starts to show some symptoms. So understand that it's not an immediate thing. The manufacturer has to comply, has to provide this to the owners. The owners have some choices as far as when they will do the repair, when they will do the replacement. So just to note, again, to confirm, a recall is mandatory for the manufacturer. It is mandatory that they notify you. It is mandatory that they make the remedy available to you, and it is mandatory that they perform the fix if you consent. You're not legally required to consent to the repair. You can defer the repair if you would like, if you don't want to go into an immediate engine replacement with your truck. Toyota cannot compel you or schedule the repair without your consent. So you have the right as the owner to decide when you want to have this done, even if your truck is getting notified about the, its phase is come up and they're calling you to come in and do this replacement. So you'll get the notice in the mail. They will notify you that the recall is ready, or your truck is now included, and they'd like you to schedule for a time to come in and do it. So let's talk about the options you have. If your truck is showing symptoms and having issues, or you're starting to notice some degraded performance, go get the replacement done. I mean, it's available, and get it in. If your truck engine fails, go get the replacement. Obviously, you'll cut in line because they're going to bring you to the front and try to expedite your repair ahead of those that are being scheduled. The question comes up: should you wait? And there are some options here. So I think I've seen a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to wait until I have 300,000 miles on my engine, and then I'm going to go get a brand new engine. that might not be the best idea, and here's why. The longer you go, there's, right now the recall is open. It's going to stay open. But in the future, 5-10 years from now, if a truck survives through that window with the defect and it reaches 300,000 miles or 200,000 miles, Toyota could say, well, it made it outside the defect window and we're not necessarily going to replace that since it's already proven itself out. There's a possibility of that. So I don't think as an owner we want to go so long deferring the repair. You might run into some gray area where there's suddenly some question marks about, is this really the defect that caused the failure, or was it just a long, heavy life that and normal wear and tear that ended up taking out this engine? So if you're going to wait, I think there's, from what I'm seeing, there really would be no penalty if you wait till the 100,000 mile mark, or maybe even up to the 150,000 mile mark, so long as you're doing regular maintenance, your truck is not showing any symptoms, you're checking in with the dealers. If you get notified of the recall and you want to defer, you just formally do that with your service provider at the dealer that you've been notified by or you're working with, and keep checking in, keep your vehicle maintenance records current, and as long as there's no symptoms, you can continue to defer. It's probably pretty safely up to about the 150,000 mile mark, 100,000, 120,000 mile mark. I wouldn't really go much past that because you're probably going to start getting into some gray areas, and there's potential that there could be some question marks about your engine replacement. So think about it as you go through, and maybe consider about the 120,000 miles being the sweet spot if you're going to defer and you're currently sitting at like 60,000 miles on your truck and you want to wait to get that done. So when I bought my truck, I bought it from a Toyota dealer as a certified pre-owned. It had just had its engine replaced under the recall by that dealership. And so I got the paperwork here, and we can kind of take a look at that. If you can see here, this engine was replaced under the 24 TA-07, the original recall notice. And you can see at line 1, you can see the part number 04004233370 was the engine assembly. As far as I understand, that was an updated part number. The original part number was different. If you had an engine replaced early on and you have your paperwork, post up what the part number was there in the comments down below. I think it'd be really interesting to see. Or if you have recently had your engine replaced and you have your paperwork, can you post the part number for the engine assembly? Let's track that and see if this part number is evolving and changing. It would indicate maybe some updated components in the engine, maybe some improvements to the main bearing or the cradle and the different components that they're looking at potentially being flawed in this engine. So I just wanted to share this here. You can see kind of the paperwork that you'll get showing the service record for the replacement, whether you're buying the truck or you have the truck and you're going to bring it to the dealer and have the recall performed to your truck. Okay, so let's talk about what to do once you get your truck back. You're going to start with a brand new engine with 0 miles on it, or a couple miles, single-digit miles on your truck. It's important to make sure you break that engine in the right way, especially knowing the fact that these engines could be a little sensitive to contaminants and maybe subpar oil and whatnot. So if we look at it, what you'll want to do is do an immediate oil change within the first 100 to 500 miles, okay? And you'll want to do that with just a high quality, probably a 0W20. Your new engine's going to come pre-filled with 0W20 from Toyota in it. So it's probably recommended, I believe from what I was reading, it's recommended to not do any viscosity changes right away on a new engine. So let it kind of go break in with the 0W20 that Toyota fills it with. and then replace it with 0W20, a nice high grade top shelf oil like we've talked about in some of my other videos. And then at the 500, under 500 miles, do that first oil change. You'll do another oil change at 1,000 miles, and then maybe a third oil change at the 3,000 mile mark. And then from that point on, you do your regular intervals at 3,000 to 5,000 miles maximum with your oil change intervals. At that point, once you reach that 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles, you can consider maybe going to a 30 weight oil if you want to do your research and see what options are there. I think there's some good options there. You should really look at that and consider that. But go ahead and kind of make sure you do those initial oil change break-ins for your vehicle. Also, you want to make sure you're driving it pretty conservatively. Don't do any crazy hard towing right away. Let that engine break in. Don't go on crazy long extended single speed highway trips. Vary it up a little bit. Let that engine go through the different RPM ranges and bands, and keep it consistent, not pushing the engine too hard as it's breaking in originally. So I think it's important. You want to give your engine the best start when you get your second engine, your second chance. I don't think Toyota is going to be doing a third chance to owners. So like my engine that was replaced, it's on me to make that one last. When it fails, I don't think Toyota is going to be rebuilding it. I do have the engine replacement that I got comes with a 12,000 mile, 1 year warranty on that new engine. Okay, anything beyond that is on me, or I have a third party extended powertrain warranty. But even that can be disputed as far as how much they're going to cover. So it makes most sense to me to make sure my engine is highly maintained and protected as best as I can protect it to make sure it lasts, to protect my truck and protect my wallet so I'm not going crazy replacing a new engine on my own dime. So yeah, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts and my experience on getting the engine replaced and what to look for, what to maybe consider once you get it back, how to best break it in. If you have some experience with getting your engine replaced in a Tundra, go ahead and post down below some comments, any feedback you have, any recommendations or tips. If you've deferred your service and you have some tips for how to work through that with the dealer service rep that you're working with, go ahead and post that down below so we can help other owners out as they're approaching maybe a pending operation date for their truck, getting the engine done. But we can all kind of learn through this and figure it out as we go. So yeah, hope this helps. Hope this gives some clarity, maybe a little bit of a window into seeing what the process will be like or could be like. I just wanted to kind of share this to help owners ease their concerns as they're looking at this or maybe receiving notices in the mail for a recall. It's something we're going to go through. You can get through it and you get back on the road. My truck is running really well with this new engine. No complaints, no issues. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a great truck. It's just got a weak spot in the engine, but we'll see if we can keep this thing rolling and healthy on the road. So again, hope this helps. If you find this stuff helpful, subscribe down below, follow the channel, and follow my next couple of videos. I'm going to be doing some interesting things to try to prolong the life of my truck and kind of put that out there for you guys so we can go through that together. You can follow along and see how I'm maintaining my Tundra to keep it on the road. So hope this helps. Until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.